Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO of Meta, recently directed sharp criticism at Apple, claiming that the tech giant is experiencing a significant decline in innovation. He argues that Apple is overly reliant on the ongoing success of the iPhone, a device that has dominated the market since its inception. This assessment was made during a detailed discussion on Joe Rogan's podcast, where Zuckerberg articulated his concerns regarding Apple's current trajectory and future prospects. Zuckerberg pointed out that the iPhone, originally conceived by the legendary Steve Jobs, has not seen groundbreaking advancements in recent years. He remarked, "Steve Jobs invented the iPhone, and now they're just kind of sitting on it 20 years later." This statement underscores his belief that Apple has failed to push the boundaries of technology in the same way it once did, resulting in a stagnation of innovation. He suggested that consumer interest in new iPhones is waning, as each successive model appears to offer only marginal improvements over its predecessor. This stagnation, according to Zuckerberg, is contributing to a decline in iPhone sales, as consumers are less inclined to upgrade when the new features do not significantly enhance their user experience. In light of these declining sales, Zuckerberg accused Apple of resorting to exploitative financial practices to compensate for the decrease in iPhone revenue. He highlighted Apple's controversial 30% commission on app developers as a prime example of this strategy. They do it by basically like squeezing people and having this 30% tax on developers, he explained. This hefty fee, which Apple imposes on app sales and in-app purchases, has drawn widespread criticism from developers and industry observers alike. Many argue that this practice not only stifles innovation, but also places an undue financial burden on smaller developers who may struggle to pay such high fees. Zuckerberg's frustrations extend beyond financial practices. He is particularly concerned about the lack of interoperability between Apple devices and those of other manufacturers. He argued that Apple deliberately restricts how its products interact with devices from other companies, creating a walled garden that limits consumer choice and stifles competition. This lack of seamless integration forces consumers to remain within the Apple ecosystem, even if they might prefer alternative products that could better meet their needs. The rivalry between Meta and Apple has intensified in recent years, fueled by differing visions for the future of technology. While Apple has focused on creating a closed ecosystem that prioritizes user privacy and security, Meta has sought to build a more interconnected digital landscape. This fundamental disagreement over the direction of technology has led to a series of public exchanges between the two companies. In the broader context of the tech industry, Zuckerberg's comments raise important questions about the nature of competition and innovation. The tech sector is known for its rapid pace of change, driven by the continual introduction of new products and services. However, as companies like Apple become entrenched in their success, they may inadvertently stifle innovation by becoming complacent. Zuckerberg's critique serves as a reminder that even industry leaders must continually evolve to remain relevant in a fast-changing marketplace. In addition to the immediate implications for Apple and Meta, Zuckerberg's remarks reflect broader trends within the tech industry. The rise of regulatory scrutiny over monopolistic practices has prompted many companies to reassess their business models. The tech landscape is increasingly characterized by a push for fair competition and transparency, and companies that fail to adapt may find themselves facing significant challenges. As the conversation around innovation and competition continues to evolve, it is essential for tech companies to remain vigilant and responsive to consumer needs. The ability to innovate is not only crucial for maintaining market share, but also for fostering a dynamic and competitive ecosystem that benefits consumers. In conclusion, Zuckerberg's critique of Apple raises critical issues about innovation, competition, and the future of the tech industry. As companies navigate the complexities of a rapidly changing landscape, the need for continuous improvement and adaptation becomes increasingly clear. Whether or not Apple can rise to the challenge remains to be seen, but the ongoing dialogue between industry leaders will undoubtedly shape the future of technology in profound ways. Innovation has always been the lifeblood of the technology industry. It drives progress, enhances user experience, and fosters competition, which ultimately benefits consumers. When companies like Apple and Meta lead the charge in innovation, they set the tone for the market. However, when a major player stagnates, as Zuckerberg suggests about Apple, it raises concerns about the health of the entire industry. To better understand Zuckerberg's critique, it's essential to examine Apple's historical commitment to innovation. The introduction of the iPhone in 2007 was a watershed moment that not only transformed Apple into a tech powerhouse, but also revolutionized the smartphone industry as a whole. The iPhone's user interface, app ecosystem, and design principles set new standards that competitors scrambled to emulate. However, as time has passed, many consumers have expressed frustration over the incremental upgrades seen in newer iPhone models. Features that once felt groundbreaking have become commonplace, and the expectation for substantial innovation has not been met. This perception of stagnation can lead to consumer apathy, where potential buyers may see little reason to upgrade their devices. Zuckerberg's concerns about Apple's financial practices are tied to a larger narrative about how tech companies monetize their products and services. The 30% commission on app sales has been a contentious issue for years. Developers argue that this Apple tax limits their ability to innovate and grow their businesses. Smaller developers, in particular, may struggle to absorb these costs, leading to a less diverse app ecosystem. This scenario raises ethical questions about the responsibilities of dominant companies in the tech space. Should they prioritize profit margins over the sustainability of smaller developers? As the tech industry becomes more regulated, these questions will become increasingly important. The lack of interoperability between Apple devices and products from other manufacturers is another critical point in Zuckerberg's argument. Apple has built a tightly controlled ecosystem that encourages brand loyalty but limits consumer choice. For instance, users who own an iPhone may feel pressured to purchase other Apple products, such as the Apple Watch or AirPods, to ensure seamless functionality. This forced exclusivity can stifle competition and limit innovation across the industry. In contrast, companies like Meta advocate for a more open approach to technology that encourages collaboration and interoperability. This philosophy allows consumers to mix and match products from different manufacturers, fostering a more dynamic tech environment. The debate between these opposing viewpoints raises questions about the ideal balance between security, privacy, and innovation. The rivalry between Meta and Apple is emblematic of larger competitive dynamics within the technology sector. As these companies vie for market share and consumer attention, the stakes become increasingly high. This competition can lead to rapid advancements in technology, as each company pushes the other to innovate. However, it can also lead to negative consequences, such as misinformation, market manipulation, and ethical dilemmas. The public discourse surrounding these rivalries can sometimes overshadow the real issues at play, leading to a polarized environment where constructive dialogue becomes difficult. As Zuckerberg pointed out, the tech industry is facing increasing scrutiny from regulators concerned about monopolistic practices and consumer welfare. Governments around the world are beginning to take a closer look at how major tech companies operate, examining their business models, pricing strategies, and treatment of smaller competitors. This regulatory landscape will likely shape how companies like Apple and Meta evolve in the coming years. The pressure to adopt fairer practices could lead to significant changes, forcing companies to reassess their strategies and prioritize innovation over short-term profits. Consumer expectations are also shifting in the wake of these rivalries. Today's consumers are more informed and vocal about their needs and preferences. They expect transparency, fair pricing, and a commitment to innovation. As a result, companies that fail to meet these expectations risk losing customer loyalty and market share. Zuckerberg's comments highlight the urgent need for Apple to listen to its consumers and adapt accordingly. If Apple continues to rely heavily on its existing products without making meaningful improvements, it may find itself facing a backlash from its user base. The future of both Apple and Meta will be shaped by their ability to innovate and adapt to changing market conditions. For Apple, this means re-examining its commitment to innovation and finding new ways to engage consumers. For Meta, it involves navigating the complexities of privacy concerns while promoting interoperability and user engagement. As the tech landscape continues to evolve, both companies will need to be agile and responsive. The rivalry between them may serve as a catalyst for innovation, pushing each to explore new frontiers in technology. Whether it's through advancements in augmented reality, artificial intelligence, or other emerging technologies, the competition could lead to groundbreaking developments that benefit consumers worldwide. In summary, Mark Zuckerberg's criticisms of Apple highlight significant issues that resonate throughout the tech industry. Stagnation in innovation, exploitative financial practices, and a lack of interoperability all pose challenges not only for Apple but for the broader ecosystem as well. As companies navigate these complex dynamics, the emphasis on consumer needs, ethical practices, and innovation will be paramount. The ongoing rivalry between Apple and Meta serves as a reminder that competition can drive progress and create a more vibrant tech landscape. Ultimately, the future of technology will depend on how these companies respond to the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead, fostering an environment where innovation thrives and consumers are empowered. The dialogue initiated by Zuckerberg will likely continue to evolve, prompting both companies to reflect on their strategies and priorities. As the tech industry moves forward, the commitment to innovation and ethical practices will be crucial in shaping a competitive landscape that benefits everyone involved.